All right, so have you ever felt like drowning in words? You know what I mean? Just like the sheer number of words in the English language, it's massive.
It could be a little intimidating, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But imagine, what if you had this like curated collection of words that would instantly make you sound like way more insightful, way more articulate. Not just about sounding smart though, but about expressing yourself with like way more nuance and precision.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's kind of what we're diving into today.
Okay.
60 words that can really like level up your English game.
Okay, so no pressure or anything, but we're talking about the words that basically mean you've mastered the language, huh?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
But we're not just gonna like list them out. Where's the fun in that?
Right.
We're gonna unpack each word, look at like surprising ways to use them, and figure out how they can make your communication more impactful.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready. So let's start with words that just paint a picture. Words with serious descriptive power. And the first one that jumps out at me is eloquent. I feel like that word gets thrown around a lot, but what does it really mean?
Yeah, you're right. It's more than just being persuasive or like a good talker. Think about those moments when someone's words just totally resonate, they move you, they inspire you, maybe even change how you see the world. That's eloquence in action.
Interesting.
It's that ability to just weave words in a way that like captivates you and compels you.
So it's not just about the words themselves, it's about the art of how you use them.
Exactly. Think about a great speech or a piece of writing that just like moved you. It's not just the information, the logic, it's how those words are crafted, the rhythm, the emotion behind them.
Okay, yeah.
That's what makes it eloquent.
I'm starting to see the difference. It's like the difference between just talking and truly communicating.
Right. Now let's shift gears to a word that's become so relevant, especially in our digital age.
Yeah.
Ubiquitous. We could almost call this the word of the decade, don't you think?
Totally. I mean, think about it. You're probably listening to this deep dive on a device that's basically an extension of you at this point.
Yeah.
Smartphones, internet, social media, they're so deeply embedded in our lives, it's hard to even picture life without them.
And that's what ubiquitous captures. It's not just common, it's so pervasive. It's like it's woven into the fabric of everyday experience.
It's like the air we breathe. We don't even think about it anymore. It's just there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, for a word that speaks to the visual learner in me, intricate, I think of those incredibly detailed paintings where you can get lost in all the tiny brushstrokes.
Yeah.
Or like those insanely complex maps with all the winding roads and hidden alleyways.
It's about those layers, right? Like the more you look, the more you discover.
Uh-huh.
But intricate doesn't have to be visual, right?
Not at all. Think about a complex musical composition, a system of philosophy, even the human brain. Right. They're all intricate in their own way, just like full of layers and interconnected parts.
Okay, now you got me thinking. What's the most unexpectedly intricate thing you can think of? Something we wouldn't normally associate with complexity.
Ooh, that's a good one. How about the ecosystem of a single drop of water?
Oh, wow.
It's teeming with like microscopic organisms, all playing a part in this delicate balance. It's like an entire world in miniature.
That is mind-blowing. It shows that intricacy is everywhere. It's all about perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of shifting perspectives, let's talk about surreal. Usually people associate it with dreams, but I think it can be so much more than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine walking down a street that you know super well, but it's completely deserted. No cars, no people, just empty buildings and like an eerie silence.
Oh, yeah.
It's familiar, but it's also unsettlingly off.
Like stepping into an alternate reality where the rules you thought you knew, they don't apply anymore.
Precisely. It's that feeling of disorientation, of questioning your perception of reality. And it's that emotional impact that makes this word so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just describing something strange. It's evoking this whole feeling.
It's about capturing that sense of wonder, that mystery, maybe even a little bit of unease.
Yes.
Okay, from the slightly unsettling to something more heartwarming, let's move into those words that capture abstract concepts. First up, nostalgia.
Ah, nostalgia. It's more than just a longing for the past. You know? Think about a smell, a song, or even an object, like a childhood toy, that can instantly transport you back to a time and place.
Oh, for sure. For me, it's the smell of my grandma's apple pie. It's like a time machine straight back to her kitchen.
Exactly. And that rush of emotion, those vivid memories, that's the power of nostalgia. It's connecting with our past on this really deep personal level.
It's amazing how one word can hold so much emotional weight. Speaking of unexpected emotions, let's talk about serendipity. I always think of those rom-com moments where two people bump into each other in some crowded place and bam, instant connection.
Yes, it's that element of chance, of unexpected good fortune that makes serendipity so appealing. It's like when everything just seems to align perfectly, even though it wasn't planned.
Those happy little accidents that shape our lives in ways we could never predict.
Exactly.
It's like the universe is winking at you, saying, hey, here's a little gift. Now, for a word, that's all about those aha moments, epiphany. I always picture a scientist working on a problem forever, and then suddenly the solution hits them while they're, I don't know, taking a shower or something.
It's that sudden flash of insight, that moment when everything clicks into place.
Yeah.
And you're right, it often comes when we least expect it, which makes it even more fascinating. Like our subconscious mind was working on a problem in the background, and then boom, the answer emerges.
It's a reminder that sometimes the best way to solve a problem is to step away from it, let your mind wander a bit.
Yep.
Okay, last one in this category, and it's a little more contemplative. Melancholy. I feel like it gets confused with sadness a lot, but it's so much more nuanced than that. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Melancholy is a thoughtful, almost poetic kind of sadness. It's that feeling you get when you listen to a hauntingly beautiful piece of music or watch a sunset over a vast landscape. It's bittersweet, this blend of sadness and reflection, often with a sense of longing or nostalgia.
Like sadness with an artistic edge.
Exactly.
It's not just feeling down, it's feeling deeply with a sense of awareness and introspection.
You nailed it. Melancholy allows us to explore the complexity of the human experience, to acknowledge that bittersweet nature of life.
Wow, we've gone from persuasive speeches to deserted streets to the subtle ache of melancholy, and we're just getting started. These words are already giving me a whole new perspective on how to express myself.
That's exactly what we're aiming for, and there's so many more words to explore, each with its own unique power and potential.
All right, listeners, buckle up, because we're about to take this deep dive to the next level.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and explore some verbs that really pack a punch. Words that describe actions, but with a certain intensity and purpose. The first one that comes to mind is scrutinize. I always picture like crime scene investigators, meticulously combing through every detail, looking for clues.
Yeah, it's not just looking, it's examining with this like laser focus, leaving no stone unturned.
Exactly, and it goes way beyond the physical, right? You can scrutinize a piece of writing, a theory, even a person's motives. It's about digging deeper.
Like putting on your detective hat, getting to the bottom of things. Okay, from intense examination to finding relief, let's talk about alleviate. We all face challenges, right? Those moments when we feel stressed, overwhelmed, burdened. What are some ways we can alleviate those pressures? Not just cope, but actually like lessen the impact.
That's a great question. And it's interesting because sometimes the most effective ways to alleviate those burdens aren't the obvious ones. It's not always about these like grand solutions, but those small intentional acts of self-care.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Maybe it's taking a walk in nature, listening to your favorite music, spending time with loved ones. It's about finding those things that bring you peace, that sense of rejuvenation.
Creating those little pockets of calm in the middle of all the chaos.
Exactly.
Sometimes just taking a few deep breaths can make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
Now, for a word that's all about being proactive, mitigate. I think about like disaster preparedness, building structures that can withstand earthquakes or floods. It's about anticipating problems and taking steps to minimize the impact.
You're spot on. Mitigating is about being strategic, thinking ahead. It's understanding that we can't always prevent bad things from happening, but we can do things to soften the blow, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful concept, and you can apply it to personal finances, global issues, you name it.
It's about being empowered to make a difference, even when things feel uncertain. Okay, let's shift gears again, delve into some emotions with those nuanced feelings that really color our experiences.
First up, pensive.
Mm-hmm.
I always picture someone gazing out a window, lost in thought, maybe with a hint of melancholy.
Yes, pensiveness. It's that deep contemplation, being absorbed in your own thoughts, reflections. It's not just daydreaming, though. It's more focused, more introspective. Pondering the big questions, exploring ideas, trying to make sense of the world around us.
I find myself getting pensive when I'm walking in nature. It's like the quiet stillness allows my mind to kind of wander and explore different paths. What about you? When do you find yourself getting pensive?
I I get pensive after a good conversation, especially one that, like, challenges my thinking or introduces me to new perspectives. It's like the seeds of ideas are planted and then my mind starts working through them, making connections. Love that. It's like a mental workout, flexing those brain muscles. Now, for an emotion that we've all felt, but maybe haven't always had the right word for, lethargic. More than just tired, it's that weighed down feeling, physically and mentally.
Yeah. Like your energy's just gone. Motivation sapped. Can be caused by a lot of things, lack of sleep, illness, just feeling overwhelmed in general.
Yeah.
But that feeling, lethargy, it can be debilitating.
It's like that feeling after a huge meal when all you want to do is curl up and take a nap.
Yes.
Your body feels heavy, your mind just wants to shut down. But I guess there are levels of lethargy, right?
Oh, for sure. It can range from just kind of mild sluggishness to like this profound exhaustion. But even in its milder forms, lethargy can prevent us from being fully engaged with life.
Yeah.
From pursuing our passions,
Yeah. It's like this subtle form of resistance holding us back. Okay, let's end on a high note with a word that embodies passion and drive. Zealous. I think of those activists who dedicate their lives to a cause, or artists who pour their hearts into their work. Athletes pushing their bodies to the limit.
Zeal is about having that fire in your belly, that unwavering commitment to something you believe in.
Yeah.
Going above and beyond, putting in the extra effort, never giving up.
It's like a superpower, fueling your actions and inspiring others. What are you zealous about? What gets you fired up?
Well, that's easy. Learning and sharing knowledge. That's what drives me to explore new ideas, dive deep into complex topics. It's what makes these conversations so fascinating to me.
And that passion is contagious. It's what makes this deep dive so engaging and insightful. All right, for our final category, let's explore some nouns that carry real weight. Words that represent core values, personal qualities. First up, resilience. And this is a word that's become so important, especially in our ever-changing world.
Resilience is more than just bouncing back from adversity. It's about adapting, evolving, emerging stronger from challenges.
Right.
It's like a muscle that gets stronger with every workout. The more we face difficult situations, the more resilient we become.
So it's not about avoiding challenges, it's about developing the skills and mindset to actually navigate them. What's a challenge you've faced that you feel has made you more resilient?
Oh, there have been many. But one that comes to mind is a time when I had to completely shift gears in my career path. It was a tough decision, full of uncertainty, self-doubt. But it forced me to step outside my comfort zone, adapt, and I gained confidence in my ability to handle whatever life throws my way.
It's like that saying, the only way out is through. Sometimes we have to face those challenges head on to really grow. Now, for a word that's so foundational to trust and respect, integrity, it gets thrown around a lot, but what does it really mean to live a life of integrity?
It's about aligning your actions with your values, even when nobody's watching. It's about honesty, transparency, keeping your promises, standing up for what you believe in, even when it's hard.
It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
What qualities do you look for in someone you consider a person of integrity?
For me, it's consistency. Do their actions match their words? Do they follow through on commitments? Are they willing to admit mistakes and take responsibility?
Yeah, that's huge.
Those are the signs of true integrity.
It's about earning that trust through consistent behavior and demonstrating that commitment to ethical principles.
Okay, for our final word in this deep dive, let's explore ambiguity. It often gets a bad rap, but I kind of find it fascinating.
Ambiguity, it's all about those gray areas, where things aren't so black and white, where multiple interpretations are possible. Think about a piece of abstract art, a poem with layered meanings, even a text message that could be read in different ways. It's like those optical illusions where you can see two different images depending on how you look at it. It's all about perspective.
Yes.
But ambiguity can be tricky, right?
Yeah.
Lead to misunderstandings, especially in relationships.
Oh, absolutely. That's why being aware of ambiguity is so important. It's about recognizing that there isn't always one right answer. Different perspectives can exist. Sometimes embracing the unknown can lead to new insights and discoveries.
Being comfortable with uncertainty, that things aren't always clear-cut. It's a skill.
It is.
And it's a valuable one, especially in navigating the complexities of life.
Exactly. It's approaching situations with curiosity, with a willingness to listen, to consider different viewpoints. It's about embracing the richness and complexity of being human.
Wow. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We have.
It's amazing how much depth and nuance there is to even the most common words.
It's true. We often just take language for granted, but when you really stop and dissect it, explore all the subtle shades of meaning, the ways words evoke emotion, paint pictures. It's fascinating.
It's like we've been given a new set of lenses to view the world through a more sophisticated way of understanding and expressing ourselves.
And I think that's one of the most valuable things we can take away from this deep dive. These words, they're not just about sounding smart or impressing people.
Right.
They're about expanding our capacity for communication, for connection,
Yeah.
for understanding just how complex the human experience really is.
It's about going beyond the surface, you know, beyond just the simple definitions and really grasping the power that words have. I know I'll never look at these 60 words the same way again.
Neither. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder, a little something to spark further reflection. We talked about ambiguity and how it can lead to, different interpretations.
Yeah.
So here's my challenge to you. Think about a recent conversation you had where there was a possibility for misunderstanding.
Ooh.
Maybe a text message that could be read in a couple different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Or a comment that just wasn't totally clear.
Those moments can be tricky.
Exactly. So I want you to think about how you navigated that ambiguity. How did you interpret the situation? What role did your own perspective play, your assumptions? And how did the experience impact your understanding of communication and, the importance of clarity?
That's a great question to sit with. It reminds us that communication is a two-way street.
Yeah.
And being mindful of our own words and how we interpret others is just so crucial for clear, effective connection.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring those fascinating nuances of language.
And keep those brains buzzing.